Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rock Galactic, which is not just the title of the game, it is also a hilariously corrupt mining company that still wants to dig around in what can only be described as a death planet. It is also the place where your combat miner dwarves work. Now, why dwarves? Because those posh elves don't even know where the handle on a pickaxe is, and a human is simply not sturdy enough. This game is a combination of two genres I have never seen mixed before. On the one hand, it's a co-op FPS in the style of Left 4 Dead. You and up to 3 other brethren fight waves after waves of enemies, but on the other hand you dive around caves to dig for rare ore. And sometimes the occasional alien egg, and you need to fight the massive xenobeast on the side too. The beauty of it is that this is basically the whole game. You go down, you dig, you put that stuff into an automated minecart, you fight, you get out, you upgrade your gear, you drink some beer with your co-op buddies, and then you do it all over again. But as simple as the idea sounds, the game itself is a shining beacon of good game design, it's a delight to play, and we will go through every little aspect that makes this game so enjoyable. Visually speaking, this game is gorgeous. Deep Rock uses the Unreal 4 engine, which is able to create phenomenal environments all on its own, lighting and all. But on top of that, Deep Rock features an individual low polygon art style that gives everything a simplistic, but also very charming and futuristic look. Now, for my younger audience, polygon graphics were and are used to create 3D models and made Lara Croft's tits pointy in the 90s. Yeah, we simply couldn't render more polygons back then, the hardware was too limited. But polygonal technology has come a long way since then, nothing needs to look angular anymore. And yet in Deep Rock some items still do, which is a voluntary decision. Think about it, it fits into the aesthetic of the game. After all, you will carve into rock and stone. There's supposed to be some edges left when you're done mining a mineral vein from a wall. And given the nature of the game, you will be looking at walls quite a lot, so it's a good thing they come in different varieties. Hoxie's is divided into different biomes you can explore, each of them features distinct characteristics and dangers. One of my favorite zones is the glacial strata, which will blast you with sub-zero ice storms that blind you and cause you to freeze on the spot if you're not careful. On the other end of the spectrum, we have the planet's magma core, which is ravaged by earthquakes 24/7. Also, please take care of the jets that come out of the ground, it's simply not a good place to be. Other zones you can visit are the dense biozone, which looks stunning because of its luminescent flora and walls. Then we have the radioactive exclusion zone, please do not go too close to those crystals if you don't want a third hand. And we have salt pits, sandblasted corridors, crystalline caverns and fungus bogs, which are, well, lots of mushrooms everywhere. On Mission Select, you can freely choose which biome you want to visit. Each one holds different missions for you, which can vary in type, length and complexity of the cave system. But beware, these caves are just as dangerous as beautiful. Hoxie's is inhabited by carnivorous insects that come in all shapes and sizes. Some of them are small without any shell. Most of them are grunts with weak points in the front and back. And then we have the real chunky guys you should start running away from very fast. As expected, these creatures are not very intelligent and their real strength lies in their numbers that will tear apart everyone who dares to enter their home. You would have to be a real dare dwarf to go down there and try to dig for minerals, and luckily, you can control 4 of them. You take control of one of 4 combat miner dwarves to explore these caves. Each of them is suited for one specific playstyle, and your choice of dwarf will heavily impact the way you will move around. I didn't know where to start, so I just picked the scout for my first dives into the cave systems, mainly because he has a hookshot that makes me feel like Batman. But he also has a light gun that is able to bring some much needed illumination into the dark caves, and a machine gun to take care of the bugs that are pestering my mining operation. It's easy to see, the scout is all about mobility and reconnaissance. If that's not for you, then how about using the gunner instead? Interestingly enough, his skill set is the most social of the group. True, he's got grenades and a minigun and a grim, intimidating face, but he also carries a bubble shield that can be used to protect teammates. And last but not least, zip lines, which can help the whole team to cross dangerous cliffs. And I swear to God, the engineer is a mix between the engineer from Team Fortress 2 because he can build turrets, and the other half is inspired by Isaac Clarke because he has this plasma cutter weapon that can make short work of everything that comes close. As a mobility option, he can shoot platforms onto walls you can then use to climb or descend, which is another unique way to traverse the zones. However, the driller only scoffs at such tricks. As the name suggests, this dwarf is pretty straightforward when it comes to problem solving. You can't reach a point? Drill a hole until you can. Minerals are too far in the wall? Not for long. What's that? An army of boxes behind you? And if that's not enough, well, you can put some insects on the grill. I heard they're quite tasty. And can I clean up one misconception? Many people make the mistake of calling those dwarves classes, which I refuse to do. They are characters. They have unique voice lines and voices, and before a mission they bicker with each other in the drop pod.
Yeah, I don't so much scout as make this operation possible.
And each of their rooms looks different, and by God, Scout, would you please get rid of all the filth in your room? How much energy drinks did you have? One of the main features of the game is that every mission creates a randomly generated and, more importantly, fully destructible cave system. And I know what you're thinking, oh, another roguelike element in a video game, and you would be right. In today's environment, it feels like 15 out of 5 games feature randomly generated levels even, and sometimes especially when they don't need them. But there's a point to be made that this feature has its rightful place in Deep Rock. You are supposed to mine a whole planet dry. Of course, no two caves should ever look alike, and as far as I can tell, they don't. Sure, if you look very hard, you will sooner or later become aware of the templates they used for the rooms and how they're joined together, but the sheer amount of random placements of resources and monsters and environmental hazards within a cave is just as randomized. Every time I open up a new room, I feel like I'm opening up a mystery package. You vaguely know what's inside, but I still feel a little bit surprised every time I open up a wall. Sometimes it's a long winding tunnel that leads to a bigger area, and sometimes it's a cliff and you're happy you didn't step forward because falling damage and other hazards are ever present. But I noticed something else in Deep Rock Galactic while I was climbing with my favorite beard. The game is quite relaxing. Hear me out, Deep Rock's subtitle is Danger, Darkness, Dwarves. I get the darkness and the dwarves, but where's the danger? Sure, sometimes a wave of bugs shows up, but it's nothing I can't handle. The only thing that is mildly stressful is that you have to run back to your start point every time you complete a mission to get extracted with the goods. And yeah, the glyphids spawn more frequently to stop your ascension, and if you can't make it in a given time limit, the company declares you dead weight and just leaves you behind. But since you can outrun the bugs and the time limit pretty easily, it's not that big of a deal. You know what? Let's up the difficulty for my next mining operation. Maybe that will be more of a challenge. Oh my god, that was a mistake! Huge mistake! Mistakes were made all over the board! Abort! Abort mission! I quickly learned that you can play Deep Rock Galactic in 2 ways. Casual, while you talk to people and watch some crap on your second screen, or hardcore and efficient. In the upper difficulty settings, it's not about mining, it's about survival and using your positioning and ammo to the fullest, lest you die. And then your teammates die while trying to pick you up because they got overrun by an army of insects. The border to hardcore is, at least for me, right here. There's just one more difficulty above that, and you have to meet certain criteria before you're even trusted by the game to use this tool of self-flagellation. So how do I unlock this? How does the progression system work? Every mission rewards you with gold, experience for your dwarf, and whatever weird stuff you found in the deep caves, you can also take home. And that's good, because you can use these materials to upgrade your weapons, and with enough levels you are able to unlock new weapons for your dwarf. And for exceptional behavior down there, you might even earn some skill points to gain some new abilities that might help you further, and I see that instead of prepping, you got blackout drunk at the bar. Wonderful. I mean, I got nothing against a slight buzz, but that is borderline no, please don't use your credits to buy cosmetic items you unlock with your levels. Is this new beard your retirement plan? And why does it have to be green? Stop dancing like a little stupid influencer and get back to work, goddammit! Why are you mixing alien plants into your beer? You don't even know how to pronounce it and you want to make alcohol out of it?
Oh yeah! Faster than lightning!
Well, I can't say I didn't warn ya. Are you done yet? Good, because this game's not done with you. We haven't even scratched the surface yet. In addition to choosing a mission and choosing a terrain, the game also throws in some modifiers for your assignments at random. These range from positive effects like more gold or being able to run faster, to negative modifiers like being hunted by an unstoppable and unidentifiable horror bug you cannot kill and only run away from. Now don't worry, you get all the specifics beforehand in Mission Select. But what the game does not tell you is how exactly the cave looks like and what's down there with you. You might just stumble upon some very aggressive plant life down there. You better take care of it immediately. And at other times you may stumble upon lost equipment for a nice little bonus. The caves of Hoxie's are full of surprises, but here's the thing, you won't get to see all of the surprises until your dwarf reaches level 25. Once he does, you have the option to promote him, which gives him a nice little frame, resets him to level 1, and gives you access to a slew of new content. As a certified member of the Big Boy Club, you can partake in deep dives now, which are weekly assignments you can complete for rewards. As usual, they come in normal and hardcore variants so that everybody can enjoy the new content. And a deep dive requires you to take on 3 missions without a pause in between while the missions get harder and harder. Emerge victorious and you will receive so-called cores, which you can use to overclock your weapons for special effects or unlock new skins and accessories. Also, there's a chance you might encounter some machine events now. Activating one of those prompts a few minigames you have to survive, and if you do, you can use your blank cores to choose one of several rewards you like. And if you crave a more structured sense of progression, you can always take a look at the assignment board, which gives you certain missions to fulfill in exchange for, what else? Some new weapons and more rewards and gold. So in short, there is always something to do, always something to explore, and always one more mission to go on. And from a gameplay perspective, all of this is so damn motivating. Deep Rock has 2 very attractive hooks that reel you in like a fish once you start playing it. Not only do you always have a goal you can achieve and be rewarded for, you can also go just for the fun of it and still get some loot. This mechanic is even made more attractive by the fact that nothing, and I mean nothing, sits behind a paywall. This game has so many things to unlock, uncountable customizables, and everything is free. You buy the game, you unlock that stuff because you play the game, and that is it. The end result is that you have a game that in essence feels fair, and I don't think many game companies, especially big ones, know what that means anymore. So if anybody comes along and tells you, but microtransactions are the new way to go and it's only natural that games aren't finished when they come out, then slap that bitch and show him this game here. Please, do it for me. And the second hook is easy to see as well. It's actually a game everybody can enjoy because of its adjustable difficulty settings. And furthermore, it's a game where your team is on the same page because the game mechanics actually encourage you to do so. Every mineral you earn, every plant you find is shared with the whole team. There is no bickering about power-ups, everybody gets the same, so it's in your best interest to explore the caves as well. Okay, that's fine and all, but suppose I suck? We all know that it is actually the community that has the power to make or break a multiplayer game, especially when it has competitive elements. I mean, look at the toxic wasteland that is League of Legends or Overwatch and tell me I'm wrong. But since there are no competitive elements in Deep Rock where people could be butthurt because their KDE is so important, most griefers stay away. The majority of people are just here to have some good, clean fun with other people. And it doesn't take long at all to find dwarves to play with. In fact, all you need to do is set your mission to public and that's it. Chances are you will have a full team in less than 4 minutes and a bag filled with loot in 10. So from what I can tell and have heard, the community is actually pretty wholesome. But what if you're like me? What if you just don't want other people around you and go solo? As already mentioned, every dwarf works well in a solo setting. The enemies drop to a manageable degree when you're alone, and for extra insurance you can take Little Bosco with you. This robot is just as, if not more efficient than some miners out there, and as such will help you in any way it can. Now, is there something in this game that I don't like or might be off-putting to some other players out there? Well, of course there is, no game is without flaw. I'm going to be honest, the enemy pool is quite small. Your bread and butter opponents will be glyphids which come in various shapes and sizes. Some of them are small, few of them are bulky, 2 of them can shoot and make your life really miserable, but most of them will just be medium-sized grunts. Think back to Left 4 Dead 2 with the occasional special zombie sprinkled in and you get the picture. And for some people, this circumstance alone can diminish their interest in the game. I see that. This monotony problem is also mirrored in the missions, of which there exists only 5 types. Sooner or later, you're going to repeat those missions over and over again. But I am happy to report that the dev team tackle these problems as we speak. I dug out the roadmap for Deep Rock and there will be an update coming out soon that will introduce new biomes, new mission types, and new enemies very soon. But that's not all. Ghost Ship Games have clear long-term goals as well, which means new content will be created for this game for a very, very long time. However, there are some reasons that might be off-putting because of what the game is at its core. Some people might stay away from Deep Rock simply because you are doing the same thing, no matter how deep you are in it. In Hour 1, you start digging through a cave, and in Hour 500, you will do the same thing. Maybe with another weapon and more skill, but it's still the same. And if you're not specifically out to promote your dwarves to the highest ranks, well, I can see how anybody can feel like they did enough digging for now. The third reason, this is not a game that rewards you for doing something special or completing a level in a certain way. The progression system feels very loose. On the one hand, this gives people the incentive to do and focus on the rewards and activities they like, but on the other hand, this exact progression style might turn people off who are used to a more structured way of doing things. Again, competitive elements come to mind, but we already had that topic. But despite these nitpicks, the pros of the game outweigh the cons by far. And for me, the biggest plus I could find was that I could play the game however I want. If I want to be adventurous today and have a good time, I pick the scout and a low difficulty. If I want to go with my team and bring my A game, I pick the gunner and go hardcore mode. I love the fact that this game is so changeable and has such a simple concept, which is the same thing I can say about the music. The soundtrack is nothing but awesomeness and always has the right music to underline the current situation. Just listen for yourself. Rock Galactic is a co-op shooter that clearly took inspiration from the Left 4 Dead format, but built so much more on the foundation that zombie shooter laid out. The levels, although being randomly generated, never feel dull, the gameplay loop of digging, fighting and extracting is surprisingly addictive, and the overall look of the game has the potential to project you mentally into the galaxy of the dwarves. Yes, even to the point where you imagine how their beer tastes like. The considerations behind the gameplay mechanics actually encourage positive behaviors since everybody is sitting in the same boat, and the community is one of the best I have seen so far. And I have to commend the dev team for creating a game that feels whole and does not hide its content behind any kind of paywall. It is a bold move since the servers and the team behind Deep Rock need to be fed by something, but as long as they're fine, I am fine as well. Deep Rock Galactic is, in one word, fantastic, and you should at least give it a try. And if you have any friends who own this game already, I guarantee you will have a blast and definitely play it for way longer than you wanted to. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this review till the end. And I think now is a good time to ask you to help me out. You see, these videos take a lot of time to make and I really would like to make this my full-time job. But I can only do this when I get enough views and people who watch me. And you already know what you need to do to help me. Click like, click subscribe, ring the bell, and most of all, recommend this channel to your friends, your family, and most importantly, your dog. And if you want to go the extra mile, then you can also check out my Patreon page. The link is, as always, in the description, and as usual, rewards and my eternal thanks are given to each and every one who is willing to support this channel and bring out quality content. Again, thank you so much for watching, and see ya!